Hey, hey, hey. Happy Thursday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch. Brought to you by, drumroll, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So if this is your first time joining me, kick back, relax, put your feet up. We're not doing rocket surgery here. We are just hanging out, talking about the latest in gaming news. Mainly, we talk about tabletop gaming. So we'll talk about board games, role-playing games, card games, miniatures games. Every once in a while, we'll talk a little bit about PC gaming, which we shall tonight, and some pop culture from time to time. But for the most part, it's all gaming around here. Of course, if you are someone who watches all the time, a constant viewer, welcome back. Thank you very much for spending time with me again. Tonight is Thursday, January 28th, 2021. This is live stream number 612. Do want to mention, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't, and if you do subscribe, ding that bell. Because not only will it let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube, also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my Kickstarter preview of Cult of the Deep from BA Games. As I mentioned, I wasn't positive when this is coming to Kickstarter. I have found out it is coming to Kickstarter on February 3rd. So I will have a little news piece about that as well. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Of course, because this is a live stream, that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. Sometimes chat zips by pretty quickly, though. So if it's something you really want me to check out, you might have to type it twice. So first out the gate tonight in chat is a grade A saying hello. We've got Clint Gibson, and Flaming Heron, one of our chat moderators, is with us as well. So, and Zorak Zoran 1, yes, double Z1 is with us too. So, Grady is saying, I heard today the reason the Pathfinder Savage Worlds is using the Pathfinder First Edition logo is because the Savage Worlds Pathfinder version is based on the first edition of Pathfinder, not the new version. And that is supposedly information coming from Shane Hensley himself. Well, doesn't that throw a wrench into the works? I don't know. To be honest, I don't know if it'd be that huge difference though, because mechanically you're still looking at it's Savage Worlds. So I mean, really well, okay. I'm the first one to point out I am not the most knowledgeable about first edition Pathfinder, because I think I looked at all of one book from that. But I do know a bit about second edition. Now, I think second edition isn't that kind of a different time frame because it's Lost Omens? I think it is. I think it's a different period on the world of Galarian. So I don't know. It could be. I don't know, but that is very interesting because I don't know if they've actually gone out of their way. Paizo has gone out of their way to let people know that the Pathfinder for Savage Worlds is based on first edition Pathfinder. I have to admit, I've thought that this is a Pinnacle thing, and Paizo's just on board probably for licensing fees and things like that. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Craig Martin's in chat with us. Mentions that they think it's just the lore from first edition. That is very possible. Rob German's with us in chat as well. So we've got chat off and running already on our Thursday evening here. So very nice. Got a good collection of news tonight. Let's jump on in because AEG will be offering a special 20th anniversary edition of Warlord Saga of the Storm. And here's the skinny about the card game. Warlord returns for its 20th anniversary. The legendary collectible card game of D20 Combat, Warlord had a long history with many players still active in tournaments and leagues to this day. Warlord is a longtime favorite of many at AEG, and we did not want to let the 20th anniversary of this classic game pass without a tribute. In the days of the collectible card game, Warlord was unique in its challenge system, which allowed players to take on rare and powerful enemies at special events. The most coveted of these were the Medusan Lords. Dunno, never heard of that. Completely unique cards that represented the creator's own role-playing game characters. Defy the odds and defeat one, and the player claimed it as their own. In this special 20th anniversary pack, we look back at the origins of the Medusan Lords when they were simple warlords. This will allow everyone to build all new decks using these characters, and included are items related to each, a new challenge overlord, and a new alternate art of the always useful Brine Fiend. This product will only be available for pre-order from February 1st through February 5th, 2021. After that, we will produce the ordered amount with aim to deliver, in the summer. The product will not be available after this promotion, so do not miss out. Interesting. Now, I have to point out, I did not run across an MSRP, but for some strange reason, I'm thinking it's $50. I might be way, way off, but I thought I heard something through the grapevine that it was $50. I'm not sure. Basically, right now, there's the ability for you to go to the AEG website, sign up so that you'll be notified when this becomes available for order. But I thought it was pretty interesting that this is just going to be for people who order it, and that's it. It does not sound like they are producing any more of this. It's not going to go to retail. I guess unless retailers purchase the pre-orders. Kind of weird. I got to be honest, I've never played Warlord Saga of the Storm. And it's funny, the font for the logo does look familiar, but I had never played it. I got to admit, I think it does sound kind of cool that you had these tournaments that you could go to, and if you got far enough through the tournament and you took on the big bad and you won, you got to keep that card. I think that's kind of cool. Of course, that's not the case here. This is not going to be produced like a collectible card game either. This is just a pretty much all the cards are going to be included in this one release. I don't mean all the cards, but I also believe that this is kind of bounced around to a few different publishers as well over the years. So I think prior to this was like fourth edition, which I think was kind of got a Germany or something along those lines. Could be kind of interesting. I don't know. I got to be honest. I highly doubt I'll be seeing this. This is not something that I think AEG is going to send along for review, simply because it's not going to be available for retail. So there's that. All right, moving right along. This summer is going to see the release of a sequel to the popular board game Cartographers from Thunderworks Games. I've got the scoop on Cartographers Heroes. The expedition to the Western Lands is the kind of honor that comes once in a lifetime for a royal cartographer. But these are dangerous times. War ravages the land, and you are sure to encounter Dragul forces determined to thwart Queen Grimnax's plans for Western expansion. Fortunately, brave heroes have risen to the defense of Nalos, chart their deeds alongside the Queen's edicts, and secure your place in history. Cartographers Heroes is the sequel to the critically acclaimed map drawing game Cartographers. It includes all new map sheets, scoring cards, explorer cards, and ambush cards with unique abilities. Cartographers Heroes can be played on its own or mixed with components from the original game for a greater variety of gameplay possibilities. Cartographers Heroes is for 1 to 100 players. That would be a pretty big game table. Ages 10 and up, plays in around 30 to 45 minutes. It is going to carry an MSRP of $24.95 when it hits stores in July. Well, I have not played Cartographers. I have not played Role Player, which I believe is also from Thunderworks Games, which I think was kind of the game that put them on the map. I'm 99% positive that Role Player is from Thunderworks. And I remember being at Origins. This is a few years ago. And I think this is 3 years ago, thereabouts. And Role Player was, I believe, being released there at Origins, or it was the first time at a convention that people saw it. And a lot of people were going nuts about it. My good buddy Herman Lettman, game designer extraordinaire, had played it, really enjoyed it. He picked up a copy of it. I never got a chance to check it out. And the funny thing is, and absolutely no offense to Thunderworks, I had heard that it was a game that after multiple plays, the bloom fell off the rose rather quickly. And a game that I think a couple of people I know had kind of compared it to was not play-wise, but I guess replayability-wise, was Seven Wonders, which, if you remember, Seven Wonders came out and everybody just went bonkers over that game. I liked it. I didn't go crazy over it, but I did like it. And Seven Wonders was a game where everybody was like, oh, wow, yeah, they all were like, oh, gotta get it. And then a few months later, it's sort of like, I don't want to play Seven Wonders. What else? What else can we play? So the funny thing is, Cartographers, once again, another game I have not played, I think is a role player game. And my understanding is, I think Cartographers is actually more popular than the original Role Player. And I have heard good things about Cartographers. I don't know if anyone has actually played Cartographers. If you have, in chat, let me know. If you're watching after the fact, let me know in the comments. I'm kind of curious because I've heard good things about it, but I'm sort of curious what the folks who watch the show might think. So let's see. We've got Kabuki Kid has popped in the chat. Double K's in the house. So Agrady says there's a new Role Player Kickstarter that's coming. Kabuki Kid says prefer Seven Wonders Duel to Seven Wonders. I think most people do. I got to be honest. I have not played Seven Wonders Duel. I have played Imhotep Duel. I enjoy that. I like Imhotep too. I think Imhotep's a pretty good game. So Role Player Adventures is what a grade A is saying it's going to be titled. No, it's funny. Another game that a lot of people have gone kind of gaga over is Too Many Bones. And I know I'm going to go a little inside baseball here, but it was funny because a couple of Herman Lettman's friends who I got to hang out with a bit this was at the same Origins, actually. And no, or maybe it was the Origins after, whatever. They were like, oh man, we love this game. This game is so good. And they had a booth set up over, on the exhibitors floor. So I walked over, I introduced myself, gave them a business card, and I have nice business cards. I have pretty cool looking business cards. And I was just, looking to maybe put together like an interview with the people from the company, because I think that was like their only game. And they gave me a look like, who the F are you? And it was like, and I completely get the whole, I don't know who you are, but the whole, what are you bothering us for routine? I was like, yeah, this could be the greatest game ever created, and I am not going to provide coverage for it. Sorry. Because, I mean, they were super rude. Super rude. And it's not like they were super busy at their booth at the time either. But, yeah, that was another game that I've heard a lot of people are like, oh, man, I love this game. This game is great. This game is awesome. Don't know. Never will. A great A says, you always got to keep an eye on your military and Seven Wonders Duel. Kabuki Kid says that she loves cartographers. Cool. Like I said, I've heard really good things. Kabuki Kid says Thunderworks really has been putting out good stuff. I have absolutely no relationship with the folks over there. I just saw this was coming out, and once again, I know that Cartographers is a pretty popular game, so I thought I'd share this news. It is coming out in July. Jorge Rodriguez has joined chat. So Jorge is mentioning that for a while they have not received any notifications of the show streaming live. That's a YouTube thing. I have absolutely nothing to do with that whatsoever. Zero. It is Thursday, so that means the fine folks over at the Epic Games Store have another free PC game for you to enjoy. This week, it's the action platformer Dandara Trials of Fear Edition from Long Hat House and Raw Fury. Here's a little bit of info about the game. In a bizarre universe where the oppressed are on the brink of oblivion, Dandara has awoken to reshape the world. The world of Salt hangs on the brink of collapse. The citizens, once free spirits, now stand oppressed and isolated. But not all is lost, for out of this ether of fear arises a heroine, a ray of hope. Her name is Dandara. Welcome to a unique 2D Metroidvania platformer full of mystical creatures and boundless exploration. Defy gravity as you jump across floors, walls, and ceilings alike. Discover the mysteries and secrets hidden throughout the world of Salt and its diverse array of characters. Empower Dandara for combat and survival against enemies bent on oppression. Awaken Dandara to bring freedom and balance to this directionless world. There is a short launch video. It's about a minute. Give you an idea of how the game plays. So let's take a peek. You can score Dandara Trials of Fear Edition absolutely free through 10 a.m. Central Time, February 4th. So there you have it. I gotta admit, I am not very good at platformers. I actually have never been into them much. Even when I was a young whippersnapper, I really did not play many platformers. Yeah, I played some Sonic, the original Sonic. I like Hollow Knight. I think Hollow Knight is just wonderful. I am just not all that good at it. So, so Grey Day says the Grim Dawn PC game had a big update this week. Why is that ringing a bell? I don't believe I have it. I'm up 99% positive I don't own Grim Dawn. But for some reason, that's ringing a bell. But this looks kind of interesting. If you like Metrovania kind of games, then I would think that this is probably going to be right up your alley. So a great A says their favorite platform game is Rolling Thunder. That I've actually heard of. And Ghosts and Goblins. God, Ghosts and Goblins. That's way back. Kabuki Kid says, yeah, I was never a big platformer player back in the day. I surely play more nowadays than I did back in the 80s and 90s. Rob German says that they prefer platformers to 3D style games. Okay. And Kabuki Kid says the Rayman games are her favorites. So Double Z1 is mentioning that they're thinking of buying Ars Magica, or is it Magica? Because I've heard people pronounce it that way, but I always thought it was just Ars Magica. Anyone have experience with that game, with the RPG? I do not. I don't have a lot of experience with games that were from like the Onyx Path, like Onyx Path Publishing. World of Darkness, stuff like that. I honestly don't. So Metal Storm on NES is a fantastic platformer, according to Rob. Oh, a great ace mentions that it's Atlas Games. Yeah, I don't have much with them either. In fact, when Elliot was part of the gaming gang, he handled Atlas Games. That's why he's got the reviews for like Gloom and Cthulhu Gloom. So yes, I've never actually worked with Atlas Games. So no, I am not familiar. I mean, I know what the game is about. I know nothing about that role-playing game. Speaking of role-playing games, from Gunmetal Games comes Interface Zero 3.0. Maybe should have just said third edition on this. Yeah, I know. It's probably 3.0. Anyway, now available is Interface Zero 3.0, the Game Master's Guide to 2095. Here's the deets. The job of the Game Master can be daunting. You have a story to tell, and to do so, you must wear many hats. You're a storyteller, a world builder, a referee, and more. While certainly a challenge, your job can be increasingly rewarding. There's nothing like looking across the game table at a group of players on the edge of their seats, waiting to see what happens next. And then you tell them that's it for this week. That's what I love to do. I love the cliffhanger. I leave my players in cliffhangers all the time. Let them just stew in their juices. Anyway, there's also nothing like listening to them chat excitedly about a plan, wonder aloud what might happen next. On the other hand, there's nothing so nerve-wracking as like the dead air that comes when you have to constantly look up a particular rule or break the flow of the game to whip up some story element or NPC that's missing from your game. Ha! I never do that. I would never break the flow of my game to look up a rule because I'm old school. It's not about the rules, it's about the rulings. so there. This book is written to help you avoid those types of situations. In this book, you'll find an array of elements designed to help you create memorable games in the Interface Zero setting. Building your city. This chapter is all about the ways you can create a city. Much of this is accomplished by using trappings to quickly define an area of a city, like suburbs, corporate enclaves, or slums. Similarly, we also look at organizations such as gangs, major corporations, and organized crime rings and give them trappings you can use to define their scope and influence in 2095. Also includes toolkits. Chapter 2 gives a variety of components you can use to enhance your campaign. You'll find rules for engaging in corporate warfare, extreme weather, lifestyles, and more. There is plot point campaigns. Chapter 3 takes a deeper look at the 3 core campaign themes found in Interface Zero 3.0, the Player's Guide to 2095, and gives you some advice for creating your own. Here we introduce our plot point campaigns. Man, I don't know. That's the plot points are way too modern for my taste. I like my stories to kind of, you know, come about organically. Not necessarily, okay, well, here's this scene. Let's move to the next scene, on to the next scene. That's just me. Plot point campaigns are a great way to introduce players to the campaign world you've built. Most official Savage World settings have them, and for the first time, Interface Zero 3.0 introduces 3 plot point campaigns you can play through. There's Savage Tales. Chapter 4 expands on the plot point campaigns, providing you with a glut of savage tales you can run over the course of a campaign. Adventure generators for each plot point campaign are also provided. Boy, they sure like saying plot point, don't they? There's also threats. As a GM, you need non-player characters, mooks, and other interesting creatures and challenges for your players. Chapter 5 gives you a bunch of NPCs and bio-horrors, and gives you a bio-horror generator and an NPC generator you can use to make your own creatures and characters. There's the Tendril Access Plague. In this chapter, we go into detail about the Tendril Access Plague and its effect on the world. You'll find information about the plague, the Cyber Information Security section, identification application software, as well as rules for dealing with infection, removing the plague from your tap, and more. And there's also a chapter 2095 Revisited. This chapter takes a deeper look at the world. The Player's Guide to 2095 provided a wealth of information about the world in the greater solar system. In the GM's Guide to 2095, we take another look at the setting, this time with an eye for elements and plot hooks you can use to create adventures for your players. The 384-page PDF is available right now over at DriveThruRPG for $14.95. I got to say, that is a smoking deal for that many pages for a PDF. This is a Savage Worlds setting. This is a Savage Worlds source book. So I think it's pretty obvious. I mean, it's on the cover, and there was some references to this as well. But I do want to point out this is for Savage Worlds. So I thought, yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So talking about Atlas, Grade A says they have the Dungeoneer games. And then Kabuki Kid says, yeah, old school playing. Just wing it when you don't know. Read about it later. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Nothing just brings a game to a screeching halt. Then, wait a second. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? See what I mean? So, yeah, just don't know. But anyway, so yeah, so it'd be like, yeah, that's what's known in the world of game mastering as hand waving. Run across something you're not sure about the rules, just hand wave it, just whatever. Just okay. Let's roll some dice then. You want to grapple? I'm not looking up the grappling rules, all right? Just hand-to-hand combat, baby. All right, my final news piece, now available in print and PDF, is Pew Pew! Bounty Hunters in Space from Fainting Goat Games. Here's the dope. Pew Pew! Bounty Hunters in Space is a one-shot tabletop RPG for up to 7 players and 1 game master. It uses the same system, lightly modified, from Havoc Brigade by Grant Howitt. Many thanks to Grant for graciously agreeing to let us do that. If you haven't played Havoc Brigade, definitely check it out. This is a rules-light role-playing game with everything you need to play, aside from dice and friends. It's lighthearted and intended for one-shots. This isn't a story about deep-seated emotional turmoil and tortured introspection. It's also great for new gamers or playing online because it's easy to pick up and quick to play. It's a game about explosions, loads of big fights and ray guns and maybe laser swords. It's an excellent game to run at conventions or as an emergency pickup game because all the prep is already done. It's baked into the system. This is a game designed to tell one particular story, a rough and tumble bounty hunter squad tracking down a target in a sci-fi fantasy western setting. Pew Pew is built for speed, so all the characters are already pre-generated. So the game master should hand them out at the start of the session and the players can pick which ones they like. But it's a simple system, so changing the characters is pretty easy. A blank character sheet is also included. The 40-page soft cover is available, including the PDF, through Drive-Thru RPG for $10.99. You can get the PDF by itself, but that's $9. So a far better deal if you decide, well, you know what? Why don't I get the softcover book and effectively pay $2 more and then get the PDF? So Kabuki Kid says the first edition AD&D grappling rules were crap anyway. That's why I make fun of it. That's why it's been a running gag for decades with my friends and I, the grappling rules. It's like, oh, and we'll say it for like out of nowhere, as far as like what hand-to-hand combat. I don't want to just engage in hand-to-hand combat. I want to grapple. It's like, jeez. I think one time we were kidding around. Somebody had a grappling hook, and we started going off on that tangent as well. Flaming Heron says, "You fooled me, Jeff. I thought you were looking something up." But I mean but that's what I'm talking about. That's where it's kind of like, got a couple of things we'll talk about, and then we'll jump into this a little bit. Because I really am tempted from time to time to do like, like Game Master videos, role playing. I don't want to like be like, oh yes, here's how the dungeon masters do it, because I don't want to try to sucker people into clicking on videos. That's not my style, right? I'm not going to do some video and the thumbnail's going to be like 10 tips to better bards in 5th edition, and then I'm just like reading bullet points from a book. It's like, yeah, what's that, Jeff? There's videos like that out there? Here, let me just read directly from the book. But I have actually bounced around, doing some tips, things like that. So we will kind of chat about that in a moment. But first off, I did want to say, right before I went live, I saw that Cicely Tyson passed away today. That sucks. guess she was 96. So in the past couple of days, we've lost Cloris Leachman and now Cicely Tyson. Kind of sucks. I mean, yes, people in their 90s, they've had a nice long run. I get it. But it's still kind of a bummer. All right. So I just did I wanted to mention that. So Flaming Heron says, when I first looked this up, it was like it's 13,000 Australian. So listing for the Kickstarter exclusive cover. Yes, on Pew Pew. Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's like some sort of a gag they've got going over there. So Great A's asking if anyone's heard about Adventures in Middle Earth or The One Ring from Free League. Nothing new to report on that. I get a lot of back channel stuff from Free League and nothing yet. I assumed, and I might be completely wrong, I assumed they were probably shooting for a Gen Con release. That's what I would think. But I mean, yeah, we really haven't heard anything. And my understanding was it wasn't like they were going to change a lot of it. They weren't changing the game to utilize the Mutant Year Zero engine. Or year zero engine. I always call it the year one engine, and I'm like, what am I doing? It's year zero engine. But it was going to still have the same mechanics. So effectively, as far as I understand, I think it is going to be called the One Ring. Was the exact same game essentially as what was being worked on over at Cubicle 7. It's just that Cubicle 7 couldn't come to terms with the folks who handle Tolkien's licenses. So Great A says, yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking 2022. Just curious because it's been quiet. I don't think it's going to take that long. Like I said, it was, from my understanding, and I don't recall the conversation being off the record that I had. But from my understanding, if I remember correctly, this was when it was at Cubicle 7, it was like 3 months from going to the printers. So, I mean, that's how finished it was. And they were probably going to roll it out onto, Drive-Thru RPG, like what I noticed Cubicle 7 seems to like to do lately is they'll actually use Drive-Thru RPG almost as a kind of like finishing, like last bit of development so that people will chime in on things that they might have missed or things that they need to polish up a little bit, which I think is actually not a bad idea. I don't think that's a very bad idea because that gives them time to actually clear things up so that they're not sitting there like, oh, well, here's 20 pages of errata here for you. So, Flaming Heron says, also noticed a 5th edition dungeon extravaganza on Humble Bundle. Yes, I ran into that late. So that's why it's not part of the news today. Just like there is a new bundle of holding, but it is from a company that I do not speak of. I've spoken of it a few times, but I have nothing to say about them. Anyway, other thing that I wanted to mention, I don't know why, but I got a couple of emails asking me what I thought of the whole GameStop thing. And yeah, the way I look at it is kind of like this. Whatever people want to do with their investments, whatever. As long as, The Big Short is one thing. If you've ever seen that film. And if you haven't, you really should watch it. Even if you don't live in America. But here's the issue that I have with these day traders coming out of the woodwork to prop up GameStop because a hedge fund was really looking to short sell GameStop. So these people were like, "Oh well, we're going to put an end to that." So of course they pushed the value of the stock way up by buying all the stock. So here's the issue I've got. So first of all, GameStop is a shitty company. And GameStop is run like shit. There's a reason why there was a hedge fund. It was really banking on GameStop stock going down because it's a shit company. There is no one that I know who sits there and goes, "Oh boy, I can't wait. I'm going to GameStop." No, most people are kind of like, "Ugh, I really want this game, or I really want this system," and the only place that's actually got it in stock is going to be GameStop. That's usually how it works. Oh yeah, I really want to get this game, but Walmart sold out. Everybody's sold out. GameStop's got it. So the way I kind of look at it is everybody's going to lose in this. This is kind of how I'm seeing it. I might be completely wrong. Because for one, if GameStop bottomed out, and they've already closed stores and everything else, it's going to give them that. It's going to force them into that, what I refer to, and no offense. I mean, no offense by saying this. I'm sure people have heard this term before. If not, look it up. It's not an offensive term, but it'll force the powers that be at GameStop into a come to Jesus moment. That's really what I was thinking that we were going to see eventually take place. It's either we can continue to be shitty and treat our employees like shit, and look into the dynamics of GameStop. And I mean, they actually, behind the scenes and their interior emails and correspondence and stuff like that, talk about how they're going to screw over the customer. No joke. I'm dead serious. That's why I'm like, it's like if they went up in smoke. But the problem is, so now you've got the hedge fund. Now they've lost loads of money. So you've got all these little day traders popped out. Oh, I was on Reddit. I saw this. Oh, I saw this on Twitter. We're going to show the big bad Wall Street gurus and giants of Wall Street that, the little guys got power. So then the price of the GameStop stock rocketed. Well, now it's back down. It dropped about $150 today. How much do you want to bet? Not all of those people who bought in, not all those little day traders who bought in at $300 a share thinking, "Oh man, it's not going to stop. It's going to keep going," are now sitting there like, "Oh crap, I've lost money now." So it's going to get to the point where like everybody involved in this is going to lose money. Ridiculous in my opinion. But the funny thing is, it was like, the way I look at it, it was kind of like the dorks and the nerds and the geeks, people like us who are into like video games and stuff like that. They all looked at it like, "Hey, you're picking on our mutants, right? It's like, we can rip on the mutant all we want. It's our mutant, but God forbid that, the powers that be out there, try to say, like I joke about all the time. I can say bad things about my brother all the time. Somebody else better not. If you're not family, you don't get to say. You don't get to talk schmack. Anyway. So yeah, that's just how I kind of look at it. Anyway. So there's some discussion of picking up Funko Pops. Yes, the vinyl pops over at GameStop. Digital distribution is killing stores. Oh yeah. So I did not know Trevor Noah had a GameStop piece today. Very cool. So Flaming Heron says, I don't like individuals making money off it. People still work there. Yeah, I get it. I understand that. But the whole point, too, is that, okay, I personally would not work for a company like GameStop. Knowing what I know about behind the scenes, I would not work at GameStop. And yes, I understand. You know, I mean, I have been in GameStops. I've talked to people who work there. I mean, I'm sure their skill set is not in great demand. Sorry to say, but you know that unfortunately is a part of life. That some of the younger generation is finding out a little later than they should have. Is that you know, it's not, everything's not handed to you. Just because you want something doesn't mean you're going to get it. If you don't have the skill set for a job, you shouldn't have that job. Not to say that you need a you know, massive skill set to work at GameStop. I know. I know I'm picking on people who work there, and I don't mean to, but, and yes, I get it. People work there, it's their jobs. I hate seeing companies go under. I don't like seeing companies go under. I mean, I'll see stuff where it's like, oh, XYZ companies filed bankruptcy and they're closing all their stores. And I'm like, I've never been to that store. I don't know anybody who ever has been to that store. But I'm like, ah, that's too bad. All right. Anyway, so that's what I thought of the GameStop routine. All right. So I was gonna say, kind of the old school way of game mastering. And any book that you look at as far as kind of explaining what is the OSR always talks about this. It's rulings, it's not rules. It's not sitting there and having a massive tome of rules for every possible situation that could arise. And then sitting there and having to page through the book trying to find where it is. It's all about, okay, you know, that's why the term referee, and we used to use this a lot in role-playing games. We didn't say dungeon master. I almost never use the word keeper for Call of Cthulhu unless it's in some sort of like official capacity where I'm shooting a video about Call of Cthulhu and I need to talk about the person who runs the game. We've always said referee. And that comes from kind of the tie-in to tabletop war games and miniatures that role-playing games have. Because a lot of times you would have a referee who was impartial to make decisions about things that might come up in the game. And that carried over into role-playing games. And that's how I always look at running a game. I'm not going to stop and say, "Oh, okay, I got to see the exact criteria as far as the spell that the NPC is going to cast or what have you." And the reason is because I'm not running a tournament game. I'm not running a game where I have to make sure that the rules are, you know, just written in stone for everything. I'm running a game with friends and family around a table, and I'm trying to make sure that everybody has an awesome time and are like, oh man, we got to do this again. When are we playing next? What do you mean we can't play for 2 weeks? The hell you say, Uncle Jeff? You know, that's what I'm looking for. I'm not sitting there like, well, can't wait for Mike Merles to come in the door and say, good job, Jeff. Nice job. You had all those rules down pat. And the problem that I find with a lot of game masters these days is they are so focused on trying to make sure that they get every single rule correct because so many players out there have just immersed themselves into these rule books because of their fascination with the character creation process and creating the ultimate backstories and things like that that are never actually going to come into play in the game. So Flaming Huron says, I noticed this on someone's video in reference to new dungeon masters. It's about knowing the rules in general and putting the onus on players knowing specific things like spells and their own abilities. That is not something that's new. That is something that's an idea that's been around for quite some time, especially the spells. That's what it really is a big deal. That's why you see so many like Pathfinder. Pathfinder has the boxes of the spell cards. Those aren't really, in my opinion, they're not for game masters. Those are for the players. So anyway, all right. So DM and GM we grew up with, says a grade A. Yeah, I mean everybody did. It's just we tended to say referee. One of the reasons was because and now and the funny thing is when it used to be when I would turn my computer on, it would not start my network card because of some settings. And now it seems like when I turn it on, the Wi-Fi and everything's on, and I never drop signal. The only time I'm dropping signal is 3 times this week during the live stream. And I'll be down here for hours working on stuff, and I never lose the Wi-Fi signal. So I don't know. Something's weird. I don't know what's going on here. So Kabuki Kid says that what scares people who consider running role-playing games is they think they need to know 100% of it, like memorizing the books. Yes. And Flaming Heron's correct that it is a myth that people assume they need to know everything. They don't. They don't know the basic mechanics of the game. That's all you need to know. That's how I look at it. I mean, that's why myself personally, I like in a fantasy role-playing game, if I'm playing something that is old school, it's going to be based on, say, AD&D. I like ascending armor class. Granted, I always thought armor class is kind of stupid. Just like I kind of think hit points are kind of stupid when it's like, well, I'm a new level, so now I've got, I've got another 6 hit points. Like I've gained mass, which unfortunately I keep gaining mass. They gotta fix these. They gotta fix this medication I'm on for my thyroid. Anyway, enough of that. But I just look at it. If so it's a D20. So I've become more of a rules light kind of game master. Even Call of Cthulhu. There are some rules in Call of Cthulhu that I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, what I hand wave it, whatever. Yeah, I'm not gonna. So Grade A says, if someone new comes to the table, I ask, do you know your character and how to play them? If they say no, hand them the book and ask them to jump in when they're ready. Yes, there should be. On one hand, if somebody's never played a role-playing game, I'm not expecting them to show up and be like, oh, okay, I know everything I need to know. But if somebody is a veteran and they show up and they expect the game master to handle everything, it's like Elliot Miller, my best friend. He runs a couple of campaigns right now. One is a D&D campaign, and one is kind of a modified Mutants and Masterminds campaign. And he runs, it's one of them, the one is 5e, and the players at his table They just are like, oh, well, I'm going to make a perception roll, or I'm going to make a persuasion roll, or, whatever. And they don't say what they're doing. And I've told Elliot time and time again, I'm like, that would not fly at my table. That does not fly at my table. I'm not here for you to just roll dice. That's the case. We'll go to the casino. You can play craps all night. We're here to have some fun. Anyway. So Grade A says, I'm not going to slow everyone's game down for someone who won't come back. Yeah. Damn you, newbies. Hey, speaking of Call of Cthulhu, a review that's on the horizon, on the near horizon. Ooh, yes. Ooh. Stay tuned for that. I don't think I'll have it done this weekend, but I am going to try. So Grade A says, I respect everyone's time, but you got to earn time at the table, especially considering everyone else is at the table. Grade A says, it's a box set. It's a slipcase. So you did see what it is, right? Can you read that? I would think you can read it. Did I get the King in Yellow boxed set? No. Are we talking about the Robin Laws role-playing game? I did not. I don't have it. Isn't that the Yellow King? Now, if we're talking about there's the Arc Dream Publishing, Robert Chalmers book that I showed it off. So no, I did not get the Yellow King. So, but I mean that's a it's not Pinnacle. I always mix the two of them up. It's same company that does Trail of Cthulhu, Gumshoe, Cthulhu Confidential. Gosh, why is it? Oh, Pelgrane, thank you, Grade A. I'm sitting there going, why am I coming up a blank with this? Yes, Pelgrane Press. I don't really have any. I reached out to Pelgrane once years ago, and I think I've mentioned this before. And I said, hey, I'd love to, maybe be able to do some reviews of your products. And the woman who responded, who I assumed handled their PR, said that the only reviews they cared about came from their gamers, that they did not provide review copies to people, which turned out to be bullshit, but yeah, well, it's okay. I mean, I went and I got a copy of Trail of Cthulhu, a PDF, to review, and I thought, it was all right. I like Cthulhu Confidential better. I got a PDF of that. So every once in a while, I will purchase something from Pelgrane. Well, I'll get it through like Drive-Thru RPG because I'm interested. But yeah, I've never. They don't want any part of me. Whatever. It's like, okay. All right. So, do want to mention, still got the contest going on. Only a few more days left. So, if the Gaming Gang channel reaches 4,000 subscribers, we're, I think, 99 subscribers shy. By the final day of January, I will give away a copy of Next War Korea from GMT Games. I will ship this anywhere I can ship it. So we've got that. Of course, if I hit 5,000 subscribers, which we know that's not going to happen, but still, it is a contest I've got going, I will send out the core set of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons core books. So the Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, and Monster Manual with the Jeff Easley artwork. So that is another option. And of course, I do have a contest that's running through the end of February. If we can hit 6,000 subscribers, I will give away my copy of the alternate art Dungeons and Dragons Candlekeep Mysteries from Wizards of the Coast. And I will get that in the winner's hands on the day it comes out. So Fleming Heron says, well, it's not impossible, but it's slipping away. Grady says they're glad January is ending. Yeah, I've had enough of it. It's like I've had enough. Although now we're supposed to get more snow. It's funny, we had hardly any snow. Now we're going to get in end of January into February. We're going to get way more snow in the Chicago area. Oh, well. So Kabuki Kid says, and you need to memorize all 3 of those books from Advanced Dungeons and Dragons in order to play. That's right. So on Monday, I will reveal 2 new contests and probably be a bit easier to actually hit the goal for me to do the giveaways. All right. Anyway, that is it for this time out. Once again, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't. If you do, ding that bell. I'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube. I'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my Kickstarter preview of Cult of the Deep. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Everybody who watched, thank you very much for keeping me company. If you hung out in chat watching live tonight, I always appreciate that. And of course, I know a lot of people out there don't have an opportunity to watch live. So if you watch after the fact, even if it's on Memorex, I truly do appreciate that as well. Of course, I won't see you until next month. Wink, wink. So, as I always tend to remind everybody, I hope that you're all enjoying the rest of your Thursday night or Friday or whatever day it happens to be. And let me wrap up once again by saying, I truly hope all of you out there during this never-ending pandemic are being smart and staying safe. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, if you'd like to subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, by all means, click right here. And if you'd like to check out one of our recent live streams, click right up top. And if you want to roll the dice and see what the algorithm for YouTube recommends, click right here. And of course, thank you once again for watching. And gang, please stay safe and wear a mask.